Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So today, we are diving into an absolutely mind-bending anomaly, and it's happening right next door in our own cosmic neighborhood. Get ready, because the universe is about to get, well, really weird. We're going to look at some brand new data that is completely baffling astronomers right now. It's an anomaly so massive, it's actually forcing scientists to question the very invisible forces they believe hold our galaxy together. Okay, let's dive right in. The awe-inspiring Andromeda galaxy, you might know it as Messier 31, is our closest massive galactic neighbor. It's sitting out there roughly 2.5 million light-years away. Now, we've been looking up at this swirling massive stars for centuries, right? We've mapped it in incredible detail. But recently, deeper observations of the tiny dwarf galaxies that swirl around Andromeda's edges, well, they're starting to literally break our fundamental models of physics. Which, leads us to a pretty fascinating question. What if our closest galactic neighbor is actually trying to tell us that our physics is wrong? Seriously, I want you to think of the universe like a giant mystery novel for a second. Right now, astronomers have just stumbled upon a massive plot twist, and the stakes for our understanding of the cosmos, they honestly couldn't be higher.
Section 1. The Great Andromeda Mystery, a Cosmic Crime Scene.
Okay, the absolutely crucial point here is understanding what we expect to see out there versus what is actually happening. According to the standard model of cosmology, that's lambda cold dark matter. If you want the technical term, a massive galaxy like Andromeda is supposed to be surrounded by this giant invisible sphere of dark matter. Because of that, smaller satellite galaxies should get trapped in a random isotropic distribution. Basically, they should be scattered evenly all around Andromeda, kind of like a swarm of bees buzzing around a hive. But the observed reality? It's highly asymmetrical, and strangely enough, it's pointed like an arrow directly at us, the Milky Way.
The sheer scale of this asymmetry is it's staggering. Out of Andromeda's 37 known satellite galaxies, an astonishing 36 of them, 36 out of 37, are clustered within this narrow 107-degree cone pointing right at our galaxy. Guys, that is a statistical bomb dropped right into the middle of modern astrophysics. Just imagine flipping a coin 37 times and getting heads 36 times in a row. You wouldn't just think, oh, wow, good luck. No way. You'd assume the coin is rigged for sure. So what exactly is rigging the gravity around Andromeda?
Section 2. A Dark Matter Crisis, Breaking Concordance Cosmology.
So, mainstream scientists are taking this incredibly lopsided data seriously, and frankly, it's kind of throwing things into a panic. A recent paper published in the journal Nature Astronomy actually ran the numbers on this. They put it through their standard cosmological simulations over and over again, and they found that there is less than a 0.3% chance of this alignment happening in their standard models, less than half of 1%. The gravity-based dark matter model simply cannot explain why these dwarf galaxies are overwhelmingly piling up on the exact side of Andromeda that faces us.
This really just brilliantly illustrates the depth of the problem here. The researchers themselves explicitly state that this makes the Andromeda system, quote, an extreme outlier in the prevailing cosmological paradigm, further challenging our understanding of structure formation, unquote. I mean, they are openly admitting that this lopsided alignment fundamentally breaks cold dark matter cosmology. The invisible dark matter halos that are supposedly out there dictating gravity, they just aren't behaving the way the math says they should.
Let's just pause and look at the immense physical scale of this anomaly. The geometric centroid, which is basically the center of mass of Andromeda's satellite distribution, is actually displaced by a massive 75 kiloparsecs toward our galaxy. Now, to put that into perspective, 75 kiloparsecs is nearly 245,000 light-years. That's more than double the entire width of our own Milky Way galaxy. We are talking about an enormous physical drag, pulling this entire cluster of dwarf galaxies hundreds of thousands of light-years right towards our cosmic doorstep.
Section 3. The Electric Universe Paradigm, an Alternative Lens.
Now, while standard cosmologists are definitely scratching their heads right now, alternative theorists are looking at this exact same data through a completely different lens. At the heart of this perspective, which is proposed by theorist Miles Mathis, is something called the charge field. See, in the electric universe model, electromagnetic energy isn't just some minor background force. It's actually defined as the foundational field of the universe, composed of real photons. And Mathis theorizes it makes up a staggering 95% of the unified field of physics. That would vastly overpower standard gravity. Let's break down how this builds into an actual cosmic mechanic. According to Mathis, galaxies aren't just big masses driven by gravity. They're actually giant engines that recycle charge. Charge flows in at the poles and out at the equator. He argues that this outward charge is repulsive, pushing directly against gravity. And crucially, he states this field scales by the quad, so the fourth power, unlike gravity, which scales by the square. That means it operates over these massive galactic distances in a completely different way than standard gravity. And most radically, Mathis proposes that what mainstream science has been calling dark matter all these years is actually just this pervasive invisible charge field.
Section 4. A charged galactic circuit. Dueling paradigms.
Okay, so now we have two completely different ways to view the universe. Let's put them side by side and see how they handle the exact same Andromeda anomaly. On one side, we have the mainstream dark matter researchers from Nature Astronomy. They look at these 36 aligned satellite galaxies and conclude it's, quote, difficult to explain in the context of concordance cosmology. To them, it's this profound, completely unexpected mystery that basically shatters the gravity-only simulations.
But then, immediately contrast this with Mathis's alternative perspective. When he looks at the exact same Nature Astronomy paper, he isn't surprised in the slightest. Actually, he says, it isn't strange at all. They are literally residing in a line of charge linkage. In his framework, these dwarf galaxies basically have no choice but to align. They're behaving exactly like iron filings aligning with a giant magnet along a massive cosmic current.
The electric universe offers this striking, almost mechanical metaphor for the whole thing. The Milky Way and Andromeda, they aren't just isolated islands floating randomly out there in the dark. Instead, they are active components plugged into a local intergalactic charge circuit board. In this view, our two massive galaxies are tied together electromagnetically, kind of like atoms in a giant cosmic molecule. They're exchanging invisible rivers of charge that physically force these smaller 36 satellite galaxies into a direct, perfectly predictable line between us.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative question for today's explainer. Does the future of astronomy lie in tweaking and refining our models of invisible dark matter until we can somehow explain this massive 36-galaxy anomaly? Or do we need to abandon that model entirely and plug into a completely different cosmic circuit? The data from our galactic neighbor is totally undeniable, but how we choose to interpret it next, well, that could change absolutely everything about how we view the universe. I really hope this explainer sparked your curiosity today, and I'll catch you on the next one.